It's already got 1 like on it. So we should be set. I don't know. Does yours show the comment reel? Can you see the live comments and stuff on there?
No.
All right. Let's see live chat. All right, there we go. We got live chat on. We got somebody else watching. So we will get started. Make sure I got my book. Okay. Hey, Matt here. Welcome to Mob Street. And welcome to this live video with Brad at Bradley Performance Products. Glad to have him here with us. Before we get too far into it, first off, hey, Jackson's watching. Right on. First off, thanks, Brad. Yep, Jackson's on there. So thanks for joining. Greatly appreciate it. And the reason I have you here is because you're way smarter than I am when it comes to, well, pretty much everything, but especially the stuff with the TW, because even my kids say that when I'm like talking to you, like at TW Fest, they looked at me and like, wow, Dad, Brad makes you look like a newbie. So I guess, it's always better to have somebody that's smarter than you are. But if you are joining, make sure to say hi down there in the comments, and we will get right into it. So this is video 2 of our suspension series for the TW200. And the first one we talked about, hey, if you have any questions about the suspension setup for the TW, let us know in the comments, because I was going to take those questions and ask Brad, his opinion on all that stuff. Plus, we did a poll. What are your biggest pain points with the TW's suspension? And we've got bottoming out was at 63%. Cornering was 9%. A harsh ride was 14%. And then there's others, 14% others who said, no, it's not any of those. It's these things. So we wrote down those questions. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So thank you to all those who put the questions out there and took the time to take the poll and put the questions in the comments. And we're going to hope that we get those answered here for you. So first off, Brad, again, thanks for joining us. Greatly appreciate it. How are things over there on your end?
Thanks for having me. I greatly appreciate you asking my opinion, because that's all it is. Everything's good here in Arkansas. Doing a little bit of riding, a lot of testing, and we're still busy filling orders every day.
Good. Glad to hear it. So, a little bit of a background. I know your background. I don't know how many other people do, but when it comes to the TW, like we did the interview there at TW Fest, but what got you, kind of just like a quick recap, what got you into the TW, kind of like your background of power sports, and really what kind of got you into, doing this stuff here for the TW?
Well, so just shortly, that my background is in racing, just about anything with a motor. And I had a TW basically as a farm bike, and I just couldn't leave it alone. Just wanted to improve it, and so just started applying what I knew from my racing background to the TW, and just started building performance parts for a low performing bike.
Well, you've been answering and bringing out products that everybody's been asking for, for years and years. They're complaining about this, that, the other with the bike. Like, you're bringing all that stuff out and making it available and taking this bike that we all love and turning it into something, well, one, competitive. And I know that might not be a word that goes with the TW very often, but like seeing your bike and what you've done, and like Taylor's bike and some of the other bikes that have added, the bits and pieces that you have available for the TW, and seeing the difference between those bikes and the stock TW, it's a night and day difference. Like, it literally is a night and day difference. over the stock bikes, the stuff that you bring out. So I've been pretty impressed with it, and I know there's a lot of others out there who have as well. So we'll just tear into this time the suspension, because that's something that a lot of folks have asked me about. Um, and we'll just kind of, if you don't mind, we'll just start with those if that's okay with you.
Yeah. So keep in mind that suspension comfort, I guess you would say, is subjective.
Right?
So my bike might work great for me, and then it may not for you. So there's not
Right.
one general perfect setup. I generally try to tell my customers that I'm on the phone with that, you go to any type of racetrack, doesn't matter what it is, if it's a car, a motorcycle, four wheeler, whatever it is, as they're going out into practice and heat races and testing and things like that, they're changing suspension products every time it goes on and off the track. So you're always trying to dial suspension. So we might get your suspensions working perfect for a specific type of terrain that you ride in, and then you may feel like it's too harsh or too soft in another terrain. So
Okay.
it is personal preference.
Gotcha.
With that said, most people probably haven't torn apart their front forks or their rear shock. And so I'll just show you real quickly basically what's in there and what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Here's a cut off bent TW fork from a wrecked bike.
Is that one
So
of
this
yours?
rod, no, it's not mine. Um, this rod is called the dampener rod, and this end of the rod is bolted down in the bottom of your fork leg, and so it stays rigid. And then this fork moves up and down. And so this amount of shaft that is showing here is all the travel you have.
So
So
that's your
that's all
six
the
point
TW
three
has.
inches.
That's it.
Okay.
So this one, pay no attention to the size of these holes because these have been hogged out. But if this was an OEM part, these holes would be very tiny.
Okay.
But it operates just like a flute. As this goes up and down, it is forcing the oil through these holes. And that is all the dampening that you have. This is called dampening rod suspension technology. And supposedly it was developed in like 1934 by BMW. So it's nothing new.
Okay.
And it is a very antiquated way of controlling the action of the suspension. And so just a couple basics. Here's a TW spring. It's a big one. Springs hold weight, and the dampener rod times the reaction. So it controls the timing. This holds the weight. So that's the two things, and they need to work hand in hand.
Right.
So if you go to I tell people this every day. If you go to a stiffer spring, this spring now has the ability to blow through this dampening at a faster rate.
Okay.
So unless you increase dampening resistance, if you just go to a stiffer spring, it is now going to be more of a pogo stick.
Okay.
So you have to increase both together. An increase in spring rate needs to be followed with an increase in dampening resistance.
Gotcha.
Clear as mud?
Clear as mud. So outside of the spring, like if you go to a stiffer spring, in order to compensate, so you don't blow through that, I mean,
What
outside
can you
of
do?
exactly outside of getting a new damping rod, is there anything that you can do? I mean, I know that some folks will add like a thicker weight oil, but I don't know if that would be compensation enough for slowing down that that spring.
So with dampening rod technology, it is a fixed dampening. So
Okay.
the oil flows through these holes, and the diameter of the holes never changes.
Right.
So you never change the dampening characteristic.
Okay.
So what you got is what you got. So what can you do? Yes, you can go to a thicker oil,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to increase dampening resistance.
Right.
However, that generally means that on the slower rod speeds is what we call it. The suspension action speed is the rod speed.
Mm-hmm.
So at slower rod speeds, where you're going across gravels or something, where you're looking for comfort.
Right.
A thicker oil is going to tend to make that situation more harsh,
Okay.
whereas it may work great in high rod speed situations. You hit a big bump and you have very high rod speed, then the thicker oil is going to help you in that situation, whereas it may feel real harsh in low rod speed situations. And then the opposite is true if we went to a thinner oil. The thinner oil is going to feel great and very comfortable at low rod speeds, but at a high rod speed, it's going to blow through it extremely fast.
Okay.
So again, you don't have any adjustable variables. The oil you got in there is what you got at the
Mm-hmm.
time,
Right.
and the holes in your dampening rod are what you got. So changing the oil does help, but it is kind of a band-aid.
So it would help only really in a higher speed situation. Like if you're trying to rally through the trails or the desert or whatever it may be, that's where the thicker weight oil plus that spring would do quite a bit better. But if you're just out riding around on the road, or maybe just like a dirt road or whatever that has a slower, you know, suspension, slower suspension travel, it's going to make it feel a lot stiffer than it should.
That's right.
So, okay, well that makes sense. So with that, then one of the questions that came up was adding emulators, because I
Yeah.
know you have emulators, and I
Mhm.
know that there's, I think Race Tech has some as well. But I mean, what's the point of an emulator? What would that help us in this situation, or I mean, would that change things up for us with the without having to change that dampening rod? Is that something that would kind of be more than just a band-aid and more of like a overall fix for it?
Yeah. So as we talked about, the dampening rod technology is 90 years old,
Right.
and we still have it in a brand new 26 model CW.
Yeah. I know all the Harleys still
So
use it quite a bit too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's very common for road bikes
Right.
because you generally see low rod speeds. So for off-road usage, yes, the fix is to put in an emulator.
Okay.
So what this is it is a piston that has a series of very specially selected valve shims and springs, and so it's a double valve piston. It has ports on both sides, so it controls the oil coming through both directions, and it converts the suspension from the dampening rod to a modern day suspension stack, or a piston valve stack is what this would be called.
Okay.
This is what is inside of a shop. This
Okay.
is what's in your rear shop.
Gotcha.
And so we are taking this piston and putting it on top of the dampener rod. It is held in place by the spring.
Okay.
And so now the oil that comes through this dampener rod is forced to go through this oil control system.
Gotcha.
So this is how we get modern day adjustable, highly controlled um, oil control, I guess you'd say.
So when you say oil control, is that itself adjustable? Like you can like set it to what you're most comfortable with, or like how does that work?
Well, so there is a whole lot of math, and again, a little bit of black magic because it is subjective.
Okay.
So the number of shims and the size of the shims and the thickness of the shims have all been predetermined for what we feel like is the best setup for the TW200 for most riders.
Okay.
And it is still adjustable by changing the oil viscosity and the spring rate.
Okay.
So we have several variables there to determine how we want to set up the suspension.
Right.
If we want to keep it comfortable and soft, we're going to use probably a lighter spring, and we're going to use a lighter oil with the emulator.
Okay.
And then as people are heavier or more aggressive riders, you're going to use a heavier oil in the emulator and a heavier spring. And so, again, this is what we've determined is really going to be a good fit for most all riders for the TW200.
So would you use that if when you say overall, is that set up to, or is that emulator set up right now to go with the stock springs and the stock oil viscosity?
Yes, so we have kind of a recommendation chart on the website there with the emulator,
Okay.
and it gives you a recommended spring and oil weight for your weight and your riding style.
Okay. So if somebody's looking for suspension, if they just want to make their stock ride just a little bit more responsive, they can go in, they can see that chart, they can say, okay, I weigh this much, this is the type of style that or riding that I do. Then that'll tell you, hey, get the emulator, use this oil, and possibly this spring, depending on what it is that they want to do.
Yeah, and so that brings up another point. If you are a heavier rider,
Like me.
and you said it,
I did. I'll own it.
and you do mostly sit down riding And let's just say that you're a bigger guy, you've got longer arms, longer legs, you're sitting further back than say I would be, then your weight bias is extremely towards the rear. You're not putting a whole lot more weight on the front.
Right.
So we have to consider that when talking to customers. If you are a more aggressive rider, then you probably do a lot of standing up. And when you stand up, you're moving all that weight forward.
Right.
So that's why we want to know not so much, besides your weight, we want to know how you ride. Because if you're a stand up rider, you're going to need more spring and more oil control.
Okay. So that brings up one of the questions then. Um, folks are asking, do you do just the front? Do you do just the rear? Do you do the front first? Do you do the rear first? Or do you both at the same time? Or does it even, I mean, does it, obviously, just by talking with you, it sounds like it depends on the type of riding that you're going to be doing? Or is
It does. However, that brings us to another part of the discussion.
Okay.
Spring rates. Let's just say for easy math that this spring is 50 pound, is a 50 pound per inch rate spring. So that means that for every inch, it's an additional 50 pounds. So it takes 50 pounds to compress at the first inch, 100 for the next, 150, and so on.
Okay.
So if I, let's see where to go. Let's how to say this. I'm gonna say it nicely.
Okay, well, while you're thinking of how to say it nice, folks are saying there's an echo, so I'm going to see if I can fix the echo on here. It might be because I'm out in the garage. It doesn't sound like it's echoing on my end, but I'm going to see if I can. Might go inside for a sec, so I apologize for interrupting this. I got to change where I'm filming at because it's echoing pretty bad. So, all right, let's see. For those who are saying it's echoing, it's Brad's side. Okay, hold on a sec. So if it's Brad's side, let's see. Okay, Brad, start talking. See if that makes it any easier for you or for those guys.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Did that fix it? I might be. Let's see. I don't know. Now they're not answering. Go figure.
Okay.
So I just switched to my front room, so we're gonna see how that does. If that changes things for us. Wow. All right.
Okay.
Little better,
So
they said.
I'll continue.
Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna.
So if you weigh 150 pounds and your bike weighs, 200 to 300, whatever it is,
Right.
that when you are sitting on the bike, you've already compressed the spring, however many inches that would end up being.
Right.
But it would be quite a ways.
Well, yeah, for me, it would be a lot farther than most.
Okay, so let's just say that with you sitting on the bike at ride height, with this 50-pound spring, it is already compressed down 2/3 of the way. If this was a stiffer spring, it's not going to be compressed down here. It's only going to be compressed up here.
Okay.
So where I'm going with this is when you go to stiffer suspension, it's going to hold you and the bike up higher in the stroke.
Right.
And so, yes, it is going to be, you're going to be sitting higher because
Okay.
it's holding you up further.
So is that where sag comes into play?
Yes. So
Okay.
if it's a good time to talk about that, we can.
Well, I think we've covered. Some are asking how to properly dial the weight in for the riding style, which I think we covered. We talked about the emulators, what those do. First, the front or the rear or both. I mean, we just talked about that. And you even said that there's no perfect overall setup unless you just add the emulators to the stock suspension. I think that would probably be the best overall because that's going to make make the suspension tunable. But then, okay, yeah. So the only other question that's really left that needs to be covered, outside of talking about sag, is if we add these mods. So I mean, if we add the stiffer spring, if we add the emulator, if we go to a different rear suspension, is that going to increase the seat height on the TW? And if so, or if that's going to increase the overall height of the TW, and if so, do we have to adjust the kickstand to compensate? So
Yeah,
that was the last
gotcha.
question on there.
Okay, sure. So anyway, well, to finish what I was saying on that last point,
Yep, sorry about that.
no, I was just thinking. So the stiff suspension is going to hold your weight and the weight of the bike up higher the where it was designed to be, because we know that these bikes were really built around 150 pound guys.
Right.
And so if you're a 300-pound guy, then your sag is extremely long, extremely low.
Right.
So the stiffer suspension is going to hold you up higher in the stroke where it would be if it was a 150-pound guy sitting on it. So yes, you are going to be sitting higher
Okay.
in the suspension stroke.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if understanding that that's going to happen, you're now going to be riding higher in the stroke. You don't want to just do that to one end or the other. So yes, ideally, if budget allows, you need to do both ends.
Okay. So if you know, so if we're doing that front suspension, what options are available for the rear suspension to, I mean, to tie into what we're doing to the front? I mean, is there one that's a little bit less for those who are wanting to make it a little bit softer? And then is there one that's also stiffer that allows, or I mean, that kind of teams up, with that stiffer spring, the emulators, and that thicker weight oil?
Right. So before we get away from sag,
Okay.
sag is generally 25 to 30% of the overall travel.
Okay.
So that means if you have 6 inches of travel, then with you sitting on the bike, you should have 2 inches of sag at the most.
Should have
Uh,
it cut out right there. You should
inch and a
have.
half to 2 inches.
Okay. Well, I know mine already squats more than that when I sit on it.
So you can measure all this, right?
Right.
So if you know you got 6 inches of fork showing in the front with the bike up off the ground,
Right.
you should be able to sit on it and have somebody go up there and pull the boot up and mark the fork,
Right.
and then pick it back up and measure from the mark to see how much your sag was in the front.
Okay.
If it was excessive, you need to go to a stiffer spring.
Right.
So the same applies to the rear. You generally have, I think the factory spec is 35 millimeter of sag in the rear,
Right.
so inch and a half.
Okay.
And again, what is that? 25% of 6 inches.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So-
Okay.
And so, one other thing that muddies the water is that we have longer travel suspension options. So as we make the suspension longer and increase travel, then now your sag number is gonna increase because the travel increased.
Okay. So is there a chart for that as well on your site? Like, I mean, um, is there something that folks can look at, so they can go, okay, if I'm going to be going longer travel in the front, longer travel in the rear, my sag should now be, or is it just like a general, your sag should be 25 to 30% of the overall travel of the suspension?
So again, that's just a general rule of thumb.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So you may want to change that number because you either carry a lot of luggage or you have a passenger or any number of reasons why you would want to change your sag number.
Right. Okay.
So the information has got to be somewhat general because it's not going to be an exact chart for all these variables.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. So,
So onto the rear shock, we build 2 longer travel shocks and 1 shorter shock.
okay.
We don't do a stock length one because you already have it.
Okay.
But so the longer travel shock gets your rear travel up to about 7.5 from 6.
Okay.
And so ideally, you should be able to increase your sag from 35 millimeter to about 50 millimeter.
Okay. So just a little over, well, it's about 2 inches because isn't
Yep,
like 24 millimeters in that an inch? Yeah.
25.4.
There we go. Yep. Okay.
So your your rear spring, depending on what model bike you have, varies slightly,
Right.
but they're all ballpark of 600 to 640 pounds
Okay.
per inch. And so we have a long travel rear shock that is a 700-pound spring, which will be a good replacement for people that are in the weight of probably that 150 to 180-pound rider.
Okay.
And then we do a long travel heavier spring, which is an 800-pound spring
Okay.
for those heavier riders or for people that
Are gonna be
carry passengers or heavy loads. And then
so
we
that would be
have
the
the
shock
shorter
that I
shock.
need.
The shorter shock is to lower the bike
Right.
for people with shorter inseams.
Those who are vertically challenged.
Yes.
Yep.
And it does have a 600-pound spring.
Okay.
Um, so yes, there are a lot of variables in suspension setup.
Right.
It's not a one size fits all like that hat you're wearing. It's
Right.
not. So we do the best that we can to give enough options to be able to suit most people's needs for the average usage of the bike.
Gotcha.
There's always extremes.
Right. And there's always going to be those
So
who are testing limits one way or another.
right, right.
So,
So I personally run, so like your factory front spring is a point 0.5 kilogram per millimeter spring rate.
Okay.
And then we sell a point 0.6 and a point 0.7.
Okay.
So that's a 20% increase and then a 40%.
All right.
And because I'm a stand-up rider and I ride aggressively, then I use the point 0.7.
Okay. So
But we have customers that are 300 pounds, but they're big guys and they're sitting back on the back of the bike and they're using the point 0.6.
right.
So it matters so much about the riding style and where the rider is at on the bike.
Okay. So for me then, being 240 and just a shorter guy,
What was that number again?
yeah, it was about. Yep. Anyways, being a hefty short dude like me, but I do street riding, I do trail riding, I do open country riding. Like, it's a combination of standing up, sitting down. But since I'm not tall, not all of my weight is on the back. However, I do take my wife with me sometimes. I do have my kids with me sometimes. Or if I'm going moto camping, and putting all the stuff on the back, what would you say? What setup of yours? Because I'm thinking I probably want the point 0.7 spring with the emulator, maybe a little bit stiffer oil, plus your ultra big rear shock for the stuff. Like, if I wanted a basic overall, that's what I would go with.
So I would probably agree with you except for the oil weight. I would tell you that our emulators are really designed around thinner oil.
Okay.
So I would probably still, I run 5 weight.
Okay.
So I would probably tell you to start there with 5 weight.
And just see how it feels, and then if I don't like it, I can go to a 7, and then if that's still too soft, I could go to a 10, and just.
Right.
Okay, that would work.
And again,
So,
it's so hard to, or it's not going to be possible to develop a suspension that's going to be the perfect on the road, and then it's perfect when you're bouncing off these big boulders,
right.
right? So, there's a reason that NASCAR suspension works great at Daytona, but it's not going to work to run the Baja 1000,
Right.
right? So
Yep.
we've just got to get as close as we can.
Gotcha. So then, if somebody's wanting suspension, and if they have any other questions and everything on it, like after looking at the chart and going all through that, like you say that you talk to people all the time, is that, one of the best ways to, I mean, I know it, first off, thank you, because I know that's a lot of time sitting there talking to folks about, okay, what kind of riding do you do? Where are you positioned on the bike? Like, are you going to be doing that like 90% of the riding? Or what are you going to be doing, you know, um, well, is that the best thing to do then? I don't want to say the best thing, but if they still have questions, they can call you and ask. But that's why we're doing these videos, is trying to get all of the guesswork out and showing folks what resources are available so that they can get the best idea um, of what it is that they should do as far as, wow, this is hard. This is what they should do as far as suspension goes for them, their weight, their riding style, and also their, where they're going to be riding the most.
Yeah, and keep in mind that if we get it wrong, if you get it wrong,
Mm-hmm.
it can be a work in progress.
Right.
I have a customer that is a heavy guy. He sits on the back. He likes the .6 springs and the emulators and the 5-way oil. But then during deer season, he has a deer rack on the front with all his gear and his gun and all these things. And
Right.
so we ended up sending him some .7 springs, and he changes the oil and his springs during deer season.
Gotcha. Now, all right, I'm gonna go through some of these comments here because they keep popping up real quick.
Sure.
Hopefully we got rid of that echo. So we said hi to Jackson. We've got Al from Wisconsin. We've got Richard saying hi. Pekka, I don't know how to say that, but they're from Canada that are tuning in. Explorer 867. Fairwind from Marblehead. Let's see. Hopefully we took care of the echo. We talked about the emulators. Thinner oil is fast rebound. The echo's terrible. Hopefully we got it fixed. Car Explorer wants, yeah, they're there as well. Brutus the giant boar. He's saying it's still echoing, so I don't know. Tater's in here. Dylan. He says, hey, nice to meet you guys out at TW Fest 2025. Daniel. He says he's going to be getting some tires from you here real soon, so that's good. And Tater says that he's running 10 weight in his bike. Mike Cole, well, I won't say the last name. Hi, Mike. And then
Hey, Mike.
Sultan is saying hello, and Leif is also there as well. We've got Relic from Florida with the stock suspension. Huh?
Emails me every day.
Who does? Leif?
Leaf.
Okay. All right.
So let me mention one other thing.
Okay.
What we have found is that for general usage, we have selected, the valve shims and springs that are in this emulator where it's not overly complicated for the user.
Okay.
We want them to be able to drop this in and go.
Right.
There's another brand that makes these. You mentioned it, Race Tech.
Uh-huh.
So the difference is that theirs is adjustable, and it allows you to take them back out and adjust them. Although it adds a lot of complexity,
Right.
because unless you have a very good understanding of your compression timing and rebound timing and a lot of other variables, then do we really want to send customers down that road?
Right.
So we tried to develop something that is readily usable, ready to drop in, ready to ride for most all people.
Gotcha. Well, with that,
And I
too,
do like the Race Tech emulators.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, I don't know if the TW crowd is a lot like the Harley crowd, where they just want to be able to get on and go and just ride and enjoy it with as little maintenance as possible. And with the TW, obviously there's very little maintenance anyways as it is, but being able to just, so what do? You pull the fork cap off, you pull that spring out, you put the emulator in, you put the spring back in, and you put your fork cap back on, torque it to, I think it's 17 foot-pounds or whatever, and you're done, right? I mean,
with one exception.
Okay.
I don't have the spring spacer here.
Okay.
But when you pull the fork cap,
Yeah.
the first thing that comes out is the spacer that's on top.
That's true. Yep.
So you'll pull the spacer, pull the spring,
Yep.
put in the emulator, put in the spring, but then this emulator housing is 680 thousandths tall,
Okay.
which is about 11/16.
Okay.
That spring spacer that goes up here
Yeah.
needs to be shortened by that exact amount.
Okay.
Otherwise, you end up with too much spring preload.
Gotcha.
So the preload recommendation from Yamaha is 6 millimeters.
Okay.
So when you pull that cap on the top, the spacer is going to jump up 6 millimeters, and you
Gotcha.
want to keep that the same. So if we put this in there, it's now going to jump up, an inch.
Yep.
And
Okay.
so we need to shorten that spacer by this height.
Gotcha.
And that spacer is about as thin as a Coke can.
So you could
So
just
it's
use like a regular pipe cutter, one of those little clamp-on pipe cutters, measure
Hacksaw.
this, and then just spin that off, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so that you still have your 6 millimeters of preload.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So fairly simple to do. I mean, and I saw, some of the comments and they're like, hey, just go ahead and try it. The manuals there, I'm going to be doing, when I end up getting the stuff that I'm going to be getting, I'll be showing videos on how to do it. It shouldn't be overly complicated. And if there's questions, we can put those in there, or we can answer those questions as they come. So, all right. So outside of all of that, you've got the springs that are available. You've got the emulators that are available. You got the rear shock that's available. So let's just say if somebody, you know how you said, depending on budget, if somebody wanted to do the front with the springs, the emulators, and the rear shock that goes along with it, I forgot the word. Price wise, I think we were looking, because the springs are, I think mid $100. Yeah. So probably what, $600 all said and done for everything, or is that
Or less.
on the high side? Okay.
No, or less.
Or less. Okay. So then there's one other thing on your website though that we haven't talked about yet that I saw on there the other day. You were talking about that dampening rod. There's another one on the website that says not available yet or sold out or what's that?
So glad you asked. When we talked about earlier, so you can't see, you can see right here, there's a wear mark.
Mm-hmm.
That is the totality of the travel.
Okay.
So that stops there. That's all you have.
Gotcha.
So the lower fork leg, the aluminum portion down here,
Uh-huh.
goes way up here. So all of this is wasted
Okay.
because they put a short rod in.
Gotcha.
They purposely designed that bike to have 6 inches of travel. It could have had a whole lot more. So what we're doing is making an 1.5 inch longer dampener rod. So instead of having 6 inches here, you're going to have 7.5.
Awesome.
And they are in production now. We've been testing them. I've got a couple sets of them here. We've been riding and beating them up. And so that puts you at about the travel of the XT or TTR.
without having to get the XT front end to do that. So
Yeah, and so that's going to kill my XT triple clamp conversion. So they're probably going to go on a big sale.
okay, well, I mean they still look cool as all get out. So I mean maybe if people want cool factor, changing the look of the TW up, so can't be too bad.
So we've kind of covered it all, but it's all about keeping the bike in balance.
Right.
So that's you want the same amount of travel front and rear.
Right.
You want a similar amount of spring rate and a similar amount of dampening. And generally, the way that is visually tested
Mm-hmm.
is when you stand on the peg and you bounce. The bike should be going up and down the exact amount in the front and the rear.
Right.
Both of them. Exactly the same. If you're in the dead center of the bike.
Okay. So with that rear shock that gives you 7.5 inches of travel, then it makes perfect sense to get or not the emulators, but those longer dampening rods, so that you've got the same amount of travel, because you match up the front and the rear. You've got the same, the same rate for the front and the rear depending on your weight and all that stuff. So it's balanced all the way around.
That's right. And
Okay.
the rear shock being adjustable, preload and compression and rebound,
Mm-hmm.
then it allows you to match to what the emulator does to the front end.
Okay. So
It's going to add dampening resistance.
Okay. So your rear shock is adjustable to match the front, pretty much.
Yes, and that's what you're trying to do.
Right.
For most situations.
Right.
And again, if we set up your bike for just you, and you're a stand-up rider, then for it to feel just perfect when you are sitting down and you have a passenger, it's going to be considerably different.
Right. So, my son rides my TW right now, likes to ride it quite a bit. But if I set that one up for me, suspension-wise, it's going to be a completely different animal where he weighs half as much as I do. It's going to be better for me than it would be for him trying to do the same things that he's doing right now. Just with the stock setup.
So there's again, it's personal preference. But I can tell you this. You can ride a stiffer bike faster. And so, if you ever get to see a supercross bike,
Yep.
go to a supercross.
Yep.
You can't budge the front end of those bikes.
Right.
They're rock solid. It's because hard is fast. And so, yeah, if we set yours up a little stiffer, you'll be able to ride it harder and faster, but it's going to be not as comfy on the low speed.
Gotcha. Okay. One more question. If add the longer, let's see, go back to that. Where'd it go? Let's see. If I was to add the longer travel stiffest shock, it will increase my rear shock ride height. Is it recommended to install the 2-inch fork extenders to balance out the front and rear ride height?
Yes. So for people that just need to go to a heavier rear shock because they are a heavier guy and they do a lot of sitting down, then yes, that 800-pound spring is going to hold the bike up very high in the stroke,
Right.
which is going to make the back end high.
Okay.
So we've got to do something to lift the front to match it. So fork extensions is the easiest thing, to get the front end back up to keep your rake and trail where it needs to be. Otherwise, the bike ends up feeling real twitchy and quick to turn.
Okay. And you've got those available too. So
Sure.
nothing to worry about there. But okay, well, we've already been at it for an hour, so I won't keep you any longer. I know, you know, family to be with and stuff like that, but I think we covered all the questions, even the ones that were in the comments there. So if there's any other questions, you're more than welcome to put them in this video and we will address them with another video. But I plan on getting some of this, well, not plan on, I'm going to be getting some of this stuff from Bradley Performance, and I will be doing videos on it, getting the bike set up for me and my weight and my riding style, which is all over the board with things that we do. So outside of that, though, anything else that you think we need to cover before we end here, Brad?
I mean, I think we covered everything. Again, it is subjective,
Right.
and it's all personal preference.
But
If
this,
you bought the emulators from Race Tech,
uh-huh.
there's a questionnaire on their website, and when you fill out the questionnaire, then they tell you how to adjust their emulator.
Okay.
And the questions are your height, your weight, and of course things about the bike. But the biggest questions are they want to know your riding style and your riding ability. Because the more advanced riders are going to be much harder on the suspension, and they're going to be standing.
Right.
And so that indicates to the emulator builder that they need much more spring rate and much more oil control in the front for those people. So yes, that's the thing to consider is how do you ride the bike?
Right. Okay.
So,
Well, I think with that, if there's, I mean, people can come to the website, they can check. Definitely go to Bradley Performance and look and see, check that chart. Ride your bike a lot before you do this so that you know what your riding style is, maybe where you position yourself on the bike, your weight, everything that you really want to upgrade this suspension for before you go and start spending money on this stuff, because I don't know, it just makes sense to do all your homework, and that's what this video series is for, is hopefully to allow others to watch this, educate themselves on what's available and how to do it, and to get the best idea before they go and spend some money. And again, if there's questions about the Bradley Performance products, not only does Brad and all of his folks out there test them, I've ridden them, I've beat them up. We saw them perform out at TW Fest, and Brad and Taylor had their bikes out there. Other folks rode them and were able to experience the difference between, I mean, I can ride it and be like, you guys, this bike's amazing, but other folks were able to ride it and same thing. So they were able to ride it and see how it feels, and just the difference between what Brad does and the stock setup. So if there's questions, definitely hit him up. Go to the website. It is worth the money because the products are tested. we've beat him up like crazy. He's beat him up like crazy, and I don't know. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So, Brad, thank you very much for being here on this live. I greatly appreciate it. Um, and for all the folks who joined us, tried to shout out as many as we possibly could on there. And yeah, I think well on that one, we'll let you get back to your family. And thanks again for being here. I greatly appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you thinking enough of me to ask my opinion.
Well, I know you're way smarter at it than I am because, I mean, you've got the background to prove it too. So, okay. But yeah, and tell the folks out there that we say hello and appreciate you taking the time away from the family to be with us. And again, thank you all for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, Brad.
All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you.
See you later.